Hello, my name is Fiona Stanton from Papercraft. I just want to introduce this video that you're going to watch shortly on how I made this altered box. These are the tins that you get from Stampin' Up. Oh, excuse me. So you get 4 in a packet or in an order, and they're $11.95 for the 4. And they're quite substantial boxes. These remind me of tobacco tins that my dad used to have when he smoked a pipe, and then he would use to store nuts and bolts and screws in his garage. So this is what I've done with it to decorate it. They are food safe, so you can just decorate the outside and put food and sweets and chocolates and little gifts inside, but they're really quite sweet little tins. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you very much. I'm now moving over to a voiceover because it got very noisy when I was trying to make this video. So this is a tin that we're going to make using lots of different bundles and papers. First of all, I am wrapping around 2 strips of designer series paper, and this is the Heartwarming Hugs designer series paper around the top and the bottom of the tin. I'll have measurements in my blog post for you, but it is a whole strip of 12 inches, doesn't quite go around, and obviously I'm trying to put it as close to the top as possible and just snipping off any excess. The same with the bottom. With around the hinges, just use your nail to press it in around the hinges, and this will you don't need to do any cutting in, it looks a lot neater. And obviously just make sure that when the lid opens and closes that the paper isn't caught. So just use your nail or a pair of scissors or something sharp just so you can get it in and underneath that. And there you've got 2 neat pieces of designer series paper wrapped around the bottom of the tin. For the top of the tin and the inside of the tin, I am using Feels Like Frost. No, sorry, Wonder of the Season, a speciality paper. So I'm just trimming off the bottom excess there, just to make sure it sits flat and it's nice and neat. So yeah, so these are 3 pieces of designer series paper. One's got the top, one will go inside at the bottom, one at the top inside. And I'm just antiquing them with some crumb cake ink pads, just to age it up a bit, just to make it look a little bit, the white is a little bit harsh. This is the Trio speciality punch, so I'm just going to corner around the corners. It does just about fit the tins, a slightly different angle, you can just trim it off, but it makes it easy in trying to trim all of the edges. So I'm just trimming that off. And like I said, this is the Wonder of the Season speciality designer series paper. So these are in I think red and gold foil. They're very nice, and they just fit in. And what I just found it easy just to push it around with my fingers or with the scissors, just to put it into the corners and to the sides. It's a little bit big, but it doesn't bother me. And I'm using tear tape to add it all together. This is better than wet glue. You can add a little bit of wet glue to the side of the tape if you want to. Not sure you're going to get it in the right place straight away, but I found it easier just to use tear and tape. I'm just slightly making sure it all fits, cutting off the edges. This is a stamp set and bundle called Peace and Joy. We've got a great stamp set there with 3 big words in it and some accent pieces, as well as those little words which you can't quite see there, but we're going to be using those later on. And what you get is you can cut the words out, then you've got 2 layers for the words, so you can stamp and layer on twice, or you could actually do the whole thing as a die cut. I'm just using the bigger size letter, so I'm going to stamp it and die cut it out. This is the Pine Punch, or Builder Pine Punch, from last year's catalogue. So I'm just going to do a couple of trees. And just for the top of the tin, this is for. And I'm using Mossy Meadow ink. And I'm just making sure I've left enough room at the bottom to stamp the stalks or the tree trunks. I don't like stamping them before I've punched them out, because then I know I'm going to get them in the right place. So I'm just going to put the tree trunks now in Early Espresso, and then stamping out the lettering. And what I'm doing, just to make sure, because it's a photopolymer stamp, it's not so much an issue with this one because it's a big one, but just so it I know it's going to die cut out properly, I lay it onto the die, and then I put it onto the block, and then I know the photopolymer hasn't altered or stretched anyway, and is not going to fit the die when I die cut it out. It's a good tip for when you have photopolymer and die bundles, just to make sure that the photopolymer is the right, because it can stretch when you take it off the backing sheet. So nice real red ink, nice and bright, and I'll be die cutting that out later when I have other things to die cut. Put that right down the edge, don't want to waste paper. So again, with the trees, I'm just going to use some crumb cake and just antique them up a little bit, just so it's not so, the white isn't so sharp on the tin. Everything else is antiqued. This set is called Have a Hoot. It's a brilliant set. You get some sometimes twice, once and then stamp off again, because I'm going to colour it in. And it means I don't have too many lines, but you've got some dies that will die cut out those little owls perfectly. So I'm just colouring in with various Stampin' Right markers, not Stampin' Right markers, what are they called? Stampin' Blends, sorry. Various Stampin' Blends pens. Obviously you can colour it in with whatever medium that you have, whatever colours that you want. I've gone for greys and browns, using the new In Colour Cinnamon Cider, which is a lovely brown colour. So we're just going to see me colour in. I'll try to speed it up a bit so it doesn't get too boring for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to die cut out the owls with the dies from the Have a Hoot bundle, and then I'm going to cut out the layers below with some layering circles and layering rectangles, which should all have. This one you'll notice I coloured in the wrong image, but hey ho, I do realise this at the end, and then I'm thinking, what should I do? So then I think, well, let's just go on, let's just continue, we'll ignore that, it doesn't make any difference. The idea is that you colour the image that you're going to die cut out and just colour in the branch for the bits that's going to be layering on top. You'll see what I mean later on. It looks quite sweet though. These are lovely stamp set, lots of owls, and it's not just for Christmas. There's some Halloween images in there as well, and one that you could just use, that owl there with a present, you could just use it as a birthday present. And if you see those three dies there, they're all joined together, those three window dies, so you could do peekaboo cards. Very sweet. And as you can see, I'm just putting the layering rectangle there, stitched rectangle, and layering circles. That will go through. And piece it all. So I'm just going to use that. Obviously, because I only wanted one image, I die cut everything else out before I die cut that, so it wouldn't damage anything. And I've die cut out the letter Bright as well in that little gap as well. I'm just going around with a very light blue Stampin' Blend, just because I think it adds something if it's not just pure white, if it's got a bit of colour behind it. It kind of highlights the colours that you've coloured in. Putting some glitter on now. It's Christmas, you can't have too much glitter when it comes to Christmas really. And the same here, just going over quickly, just give it that kind of blue, kind of nondescript background. It's nice, it just takes the whiteness away. Again, I've antiqued it with some crumb cake and some more glitter, because we like glitter. I'll put my finger in a minute, because I always put my finger in glitter. So it's all done very quick. I'm just speeding it up for you so you get an idea. It's actually a really nice little project to make. I did enjoy doing this. It's nice sometimes to do a more detailed project. Oh, so this is the new stamp set. This goes with the new dies from the annual catalogue, the stitched triangle dies. And this stamp set, let me just find out for you what it was called, is the tree angle stamp set. And you've got various different trees or shapes in there, which you can cut out. There you go. So these will all be cut out by the stitched dies, which I've done. And then also get that little banner at the top there, that comes from the stitched dies, stitched triangular dies as well. So I'm adding some stalks on. There's a stamp for a stalk, but you don't have a die for it, so you just cut it out and add it on. I lost one then, so I had to redo it. I don't know where it went. It's probably on the dirt on my floor somewhere. And I've got a whole load of floor shavings, card shavings on my floor. I'm sure you do the same. Or maybe your craft room's pristine. Mine isn't though, far from it. So again, just using crumb cake just to go over it. I'm just adding some colour to the banner here. This is going to be decorating the trees, and then I'll age it again with the crumb cake. It just keeps it all in, keeps the same tone of imagery. I have to say I didn't age the big bright die cut that goes on top of the tin. I wanted that to stand out a bit more and to look clearer on it all. Right. I think I put my finger in the glitter then. Try and do it gently without glitter and everything. So we've kind of got everything done. Going to put some rhinestones. These are various gems. I'll have a list of all the products that we use in the description. But you've got to decorate the trees. Got to put some baubles on the trees. And I think we're going to be ready to assemble soon. I tried to get everything die cut and done, so then all I had to do was assemble things. Oh, ribbon. This is one of the new ribbons from the catalogue. This actually goes with the Snowflake suite. But this is called the Snowflake Splendor ribbon. It's quite a stiff ribbon, which is why I was able to manipulate it and use tape at the back. Right, so then we just add things into the middle of the card, of the tin, sorry. I probably should have put the birdies on first, but I didn't. Hey ho. So just adding all these bits and pieces into the tin. You can layer it up as much as you want. I'm using the dimensionals to add some more dimension to it. And I've also used, I call it wibbly wobbly. I'm not too sure where you get them from, but I got mine from Amazon, and it just makes the owl kind of spring. It's a little spring that you can put on because it's some extra depth, and the owl can also wibble wobble around. So you just want to make sure that when you close everything down, that everything fits in. What I did there was just to cut an L piece part of card and put it on the back of the sentiment so that it could stand up in the tin but still be underneath the lid. And that's the bright going on. Okay, so I'm just using some scrap paper or some scrap card just to fill in. It's where the designer series paper doesn't quite meet around the edge of the tin. I'm just putting these on just to, and these are sentiments from the Peace and Joy stamp set, just to close that gap really. So it says bright and Merry Christmas from all of us. So that's how the sentiment reads all together. So you've got the bright on the top, Merry Christmas from all of us inside, and those are the two tins.